I love you. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Irdina Hani, you can call me Dina, and today I'm going to talk about how I got straight A's in PT3 last year. So last year I posted a picture of my results on my Instagram and I've gotten a lot of DMs and some people commented on the picture on my study tips for PT3. Today I'm going to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. By the way, I wrote everything in my book just to make sure I don't miss out any points, because this is my second time filming this because I missed out a lot of points that I want to say. So before I start this video, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am in no way trying to brag about my results. My only purpose on making this video is to help those in need, especially my juniors. So, tip numero uno. Number one, as cliche as this sounds, don't talk bad about your teachers. Just respect them and don't talk bad about them. No matter how much you dislike a teacher, just keep that to yourself because you want that keberkatan from your teachers, you know. Last year, all my teachers were super nice. I can see that they genuinely care about their students, you know. So I'm grateful for each and every single one of my teachers. You also want to get the keberkatan. What? You also want to get the keberkatan from your parents too. Wait, so after this tip, I want to tell you how this video is gonna go. I'm going to tell you on how I studied for certain subjects first, and then I will move on to the general tips. I started really studying for PT3 after my trials, so a month before PT3. If you think it's too late to study, it's really not too late. You still have time. So, first subject is maths. Okay, listen to this. I got a D for my maths in my trials. And I cried like crazy at home. Balik rumah, nangis sampai banjir rumah. I was really disappointed. I feel like there's no hope anymore, but hey, there's still hope. I didn't go for any tuition. For maths, my advice is to do a lot of exercises. I recommend you guys to do PT3 module instead of the topical tests, because I don't know about you guys, but my problem with my maths last year was that I can do my latihan when it's in a topical test, but when it's in a PT3 module I cannot do it. Everything is mixed in the paper, you know, so I don't know which formula to use for this, which formula to use for that. If I see a number and a letter together, I would freak out. I just algebra, not my favorite, but I got through it. Also, if you haven't memorized the volume for solid and the how to find area of circle, all those stuff, you can prepare a maths formula sheet that you will get during PT3. It's included, and I know some modules they don't provide this. So whenever you're doing a module, set the timer exactly the PT3 time. Just act like you're in an exam room, you know? If you have to count some things, you just have to refer to the formula sheet. So you don't have to add a lot more of information when your brain is already full. You get me? This makes your life so much easier. Just prepare one for yourself. And once you finish a PT3 module, you semak sendiri, and then you can see which questions you got wrong. You try to do it again. Recognize which part do you always get wrong the most. So from there, I did much more indices and algebraic exercises because I know that's my weakness. If you have older siblings at home, you can ask for their help. As for me, alhamdulillah, last year I asked for my mom's guidance because she was good at maths. As for the more difficult questions that my mom forgot how to do because she's not a maths teacher, I would circle it, and then at school I would use my recess time to look for my maths teacher. That's another tip. Make good use of your recess time to look for your teacher. I suggest you to do lots of questions first, then maybe collect 3 to 4 questions, and then baru you ask your teacher. It saves your time and your energy, and it's less annoying. So whenever my teacher is absent, I would go to the bilik guru and look for my maths teacher to teach me maths. You can ask for your teacher's phone number, any teacher actually. You can ask for like every subject if you want, but especially for maths, after you do your exercises and then you check your answer and the questions that you got wrong, you can take a picture of it, including your 酸草. What's 酸草 in Chinese? What's 酸草 in English? Wait. Your working. You can include your working inside the picture and then send it to her. Make sure to include the correct answer from the answer sheet. You can ask your teacher to take a picture of her working on that question. Overall for maths, I feel like the only way to be better at maths is do a lot of exercises. You can write notes somewhere. I did it in my school diary on the parts that you always get wrong. So this is my old school diary. So I'm going to like record a close-up for you guys so it's easier for you to see. That's all for maths. Moving on to the subject that made me cry the most last year, which is science. What I used to study last year was the success reference book. That book is the bomb. Like, I memorized a lot of stuff using like abbreviation, and one that I still remember is the one that my science teacher, Cikgu Ki, taught me, which is Zoom engkau for break. Zoom is zygote, engkau is embryo, for F fetus, B break. So it's easier for you to like memorize and not get confused. So for science last year, I referred to the reference book that I said just now, and then I made a lot of last minute notes. It doesn't have to be pretty because you're only gonna use it for like this year, and then next year you're not gonna use it anymore. So last year I reused a lot of papers like from my bahas and my sejarah notes. So this is my science notes. This is my bae, my love, my paupe. I did it a month before PT3. Actually, this is not with me. I give all my like PT3 stuff to my juniors. This one I just got back from my friend Allyna. Oh, my science notes. I really miss being in Form 3. So this is a close-up on my science notes. Your handwriting doesn't have to be pretty, you know. I use different highlighters for different things. And up here I would write like Form 1 chapter what, Form 2 chapter 5, like that. For this you can highlight it from blue to pink, so it's easier for you to see. And I always write not or like no to an X. Yeah, like does not. No changes in red pen. No, like your notes doesn't have to be like compact. You can just simplify it like this. So this one you can see I highlight GB, PM, FF, and SI. You can just memorize guru besar, Perdana Menteri. You can just make it up by yourself. For diagrams, I recommend you guys to like redraw the diagram and then like label it yourself so you know like which part is which. Mozzarella, which is mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. So it makes it so much easier for you to memorize. Moving on to KHB. I don't know about your school, but my school, we separate our class into like 2 groups and we would study in like separate classes. Half of the class will stay in class and then half of the class will study in Bengkel KHB. If your school does this too, I advise you to, after every KHB class, ask the other half of the class on what they study. My study method for KHB is almost similar to science. I made like last minute notes on like topics that I'm not good at, like kerja payah, all the catatan bergu and all those stuff. Catatan bergu, the accounts part, you really have to ask your teachers. If you don't understand, just ask your teachers. Like luckily last year, my teacher, she made like class tambahan before PT3, mainly focusing on the accounts and catatan bergu part, which I'm super thankful for. You don't have to make notes for everything, you know, just make notes for parts that you find it hard to memorize. Okay, for geography and KHB, Geography and Sejarah. Let me tell you this, Kerja Kursus is like a free A for you. You just have to listen to what your teachers say and do every single thing that your teacher asks you to do. I really recommend you guys to have like a planner for yourself, so you know like when do you want to do your lawatan, when do you want to take pictures, when you want to do your interview and all those stuff. The planner that I'm using this year is this one. It's from Mr. DIY. It looks like this. This is November. Plan what you want to do for each day. Pecahkan your tasks into multiple tasks. And then you really have to take note of like when you're gonna do your pembentangan, when you have to hantar your kerja khusus, and all those stuff. For me, last year I did Sukma in Sarawak. My friends and I, we had a lawatan to the Stadium Sukan. When you go in groups, it's easier for you. For example, someone helps to take pictures when you're like interviewing, and someone interviews, someone jot down the answers, someone help to record the whole interview. You can use your phone to record, and then after that you can refer back to the points that you missed out. Take a lot of pictures. If you don't get what this prerequisite is about, you can always ask your teachers. Make good use of your recess time, just like maths. Go and ask your teachers about it. Act like you're interested about your kajian. From this, your teacher can see your effort and maybe add a little bit marks for your effort. I don't know. I'm not a teacher, but moving on to my favorite subject, which is Pendidikan Islam. The problem that I always had with my Pendidikan Islam is my sirah, because there's just so much stuff to hafal, like the toko. So like the only notes that I do for Pendidikan Islam is the sirah part. I really have to know how to answer the kebat questions. For every subject basically, focus on parts that you're not good at. So for the sirah part, they will always ask you about the nama sebenar, tarikh lahir, keturunan, gelaran, and all those stuff. So what you can do is you can make a table for all the tokoh that you study for PT3. This allows you to see the difference between all the tokoh Islam and makes it so much easier for you to memorize. Moving on to the last two subjects, which is BM and BI. What my teacher last year, which is Cikgu Abang, he's like my lifesaver for my BM. He taught us to study in categories. Make sure you know like 2 to 4 peribahasa for the category. Like persahabatan, seperti isi dengan kuku, seperti dakwat dengan kertas. Other categories like hubungan adik-beradik, like jasa yang tidak dikenal, nasihat yang tidak diendahkan. Make sure you know a few peribahasa because you don't have to hafal all. For karangan and essay, I suggest you guys to like read good karangan and essay, and then you can imitate on the acuan. Contohnya, if you see like a really good ayat yang berbunga-bunga, you can take that to add more marks. Use peribahasa and idioms in your karangan and essay. What I did to get more marks on my English essay last year was idioms. Like instead of saying at the last minute, I would say at the 11th hour. I listed out like some idioms that I can use in my essay. So now I'm going to share with you my general tips. Number 1, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't understand something, just raise your hand and ask your teacher about it. Pay attention in class. Like last year, my friends and I, we actually like brought our stuff and then sit like in front of the class, sit on the floor and listen to what teacher is saying. Because it's easier to listen that way and it's easier for you to like ask your teachers. Next tip is to focus mainly on the subjects that you aren't good at. I mean, sure, you have to study all, but then like if you're studying like last minute, shift your focus on subjects you're not good at. My killer subjects are science and maths. You can do this by looking at your like PT3 results. You can like identify the subjects that you're weak at. Focus on studying more on that subject. Third tip is to avoid distractions. I know it's hard for me too. It's like the hardest thing for me last year. You have to identify what's distracting you. As for me, it's my phone. Last year, I did so many things to avoid getting myself distracted. I deleted my social media, my Instagram, but that did not work. I would delete Instagram in the morning and I would like reinstall it at night. I just cannot get off Instagram, you know? And as for Snapchat, I did like strict with a bunch of people last year. 2 weeks before PT3, I uninstalled my Snapchat and then I asked my friend to jaga my streaks because I don't want my streaks to die, and that's only Snapchat. So what I did last year was that I would ask my mom to keep my phone. I asked her to only allow me to use it at night. After school, I would give it back to her and she would make sure that I don't use my phone. If I need my phone for something that's study related, then she would give it back to me. If you have like this one certain friend that you always like, chat with him or her, you can ask them like, okay, at 9 o'clock, stop texting me. If I text you, ignore me. That's what I did to someone last year that I contact a lot, but we're not in touch anymore, so.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Next tip is To know what works for you. For an example, the place that you're studying. I would go to Pustaka Negeri every single day. Not every single day, but almost every single day after school. I would go with my parents. Because I'm the type of person who can't study with my friends. If I study in groups, I would talk a lot. That's why I prefer studying alone. And then what I like about studying in the library is that you don't have that much distractions. You look at everyone around you who's studying and you feel motivated to study too. You don't find alasan to not study, you know. You feel like everyone's looking at you, so you tahu malu sikit. Last year, I would always study with a clock in front of me. I learned this tip from Allyna. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but she made like a video on how she studied for SPM. She said that she would always put a clock in front of her whenever she's studying. Like, if you guys haven't watched her video, I will link it down below. It's really nice. I really love her. This is the clock that I used last year. As you can see, it's dead. What I did last year is that I would always target time, you know, like 3 until 3:45 I would study. I can only stop studying at 3:45, and then maybe I take a break for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I would continue studying. I even brought this to the library with me. The tempat solat is really nice, and it's actually like very convenient. If you're hungry, you can go to the canteen. On the way to the library, I would always use that time to sleep. When I reached there to study, I would only have my lunch there once. On the way home, I would sleep. I just want to like recharge my body. Do not compromise your relationship with the Almighty. You should always pray to Him because He listens. Solat awal waktu, I would sleep early, like sleep around 9 to 10 or 11, and I would wake up at 4 or 3. When I wake up, I would like wash my face, berus gigi, ambil wuduk, solat tahajud. After solat tahajud, I would read the Quran. This is a tip for Muslim students. Before you study, just read the Quran. What I did last year is I would read like half a page of the Quran. So I would read half a page of this Quran. For example, this page. Half a page is only 3 ayat. It's not even that much. Inshallah, ilmu lebih senang masuk. It doesn't have to be half a page. It can be less than that. And then after you read the ayat, read the translation. Through the translation, you can understand the Quran more. After solat tahajud and read the Quran, I would start studying until around 5:30 solat subuh. I would have my breakfast, and then if I still have time, I would continue studying and then go to school. A 成语 that I always hold on to: 先苦后甜. I don't know. The meaning is pahit dulu, manis kemudian. That's another peribahasa. You want to be happy when you get your result. Just imagine how happy your parents are gonna be when they see your good results. Don't give up. 会定. 加油! I wish you guys all the best. I really hope this video helped you guys. If I could help like one person, that would be more than enough for me. Am I done? Did I say everything? Yeah, I did. Okay. If you like this video, please like it, not just emotionally, and please subscribe to my channel. That feels so weird to say because this is my first YouTube video, you know. And yeah, 谢谢你们的收看，我爱你们。And 再见。